I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's official, I'm back after what feels like probably the biggest reading slump of my life, where I wanted nothing to do with reading for about 2 months. I am officially back and I am ready to get right back into making videos for you guys, right back into reading. I've actually had some of the best reading days I think ever, where I've read 4 books, 2 of which were 5 stars, the other 2 were 4.5 stars, but none of that is relevant. I am getting so off topic. Today I want to run through the 5 books that I'm really keen to hopefully be picking up this spooky season, 5 spooky reads that I'm definitely going to be reading, and I think you should too. So without further ado, let's kick things right off with The Castaways by Lucy Clarke. This is a book that's been on my TBR for a very long time. It follows sisters Erin and Laurie as they're about to head off on a big holiday to Fiji together, but right before they're about to go, they have an explosive argument over dinner the night before that leads to one of them missing the plane the following morning. Next thing Laurie knows, she's on the plane by herself and it is veering off course, crashing into the sea, and she is stranded on a desert island with no means of escape, leaving her sister Erin desperate to find out what happened and whether or not her sister is still alive, especially as everyone else is presuming that they're dead and Erin is set on believing that they're not. It is apparently full of twists and turns. I am super keen for this book. Hopefully I do get around to it. Next up, we've got The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie, which is the second book in the whole sort of Hercule Poirot, not really series per se, because they're not quite a series, but all the Hercule Poirot books, which means I'm very excited to be not only reading this book, but also to be creating another Agatha Christie Mysteries and Me video for you guys, where I essentially read and solve this throughout the video, and then by the end, hopefully together, we've come to the conclusion, we've gotten the killer before Agatha Christie reveals it to us. This time we're in France and Hercule Poirot and Hastings are set to meet up with a client, Paul Renaud, only to find out on arrival that he has been stabbed in the back and left on the golf course. Among the many suspects are Renaud's wife, son, and a few other mysterious individuals. So of course we have Poirot undertaking his usual eccentric style of investigating, Hastings being a bit of a village idiot, as you and I attempt to solve this mystery before Poirot does. Next up, we've got Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I believe this is a Fairy Loot edition of this book and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm very mad at myself though because I accidentally tore the dust jacket, but anyway, again, this came out quite a number of months ago, I think last year actually, and I never got around to reading it, so hopefully I pick it up this spooky season. But as for what it's about, years after her best friend is found mysteriously dead and the love of her life, August, was accused of the murder, Emery is doing exactly what she swore she would never do, and that is living a quiet life running her family's business. But then strange happenings start to occur that are rooted in the folklore of the town. Plus, August returns after 14 years away and Emery's life is thrown into absolute chaos as really deep betrayals emerge and the truth behind her best friend's disappearance and murder really starts to unravel. I am so keen to be picking up this book. It has been staring at me for what feels like the longest time, so hopefully I actually get around to reading it. Next up, we have a book that you may recognize because it has been doing the rounds on TikTok, or at the very least, it's been doing the rounds on my FYP page because I've seen this author everywhere, I've seen this book everywhere, and that is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehra. Basically, this book started with the author acting out skits on TikTok of what she thinks it would be like to be the assistant to the villain, and it turned into this book that just seems to be soaring up the charts. It is apparently a laugh out loud novel which follows Evie as she takes up the job of being assistant to the villain in order to save her sort of ailing family, and as she slowly starts to get used to the day-to-day truth of being the assistant to the villain, the torture and the murder and all that sort of stuff, while also trying to avoid a incredibly swoony crush on her boss, Evie begins to suspect that there is a rat in their team and she is determined to find out who it is before the whole villain's enterprise falls apart. And lastly, we've got The Three Dahlias, which is actually a fairly recent release, 2023, and this follows 3 women who over their careers have all played the same very famous character, a 1930s detective by the name of Dahlia Lively. And these 3 women, as well as a bunch of other guests, are brought to the author of this character's stately home to celebrate the author that made them famous, only for real life murders to start playing out, and each of these 3 actresses decide to put aside their differences and their different interpretations of this famous character that they've played and work together to solve the mystery. So these 4 books plus Assistant to the Villain are all on my spooky season TBR. I think they should be on your spooky season TBR too. Maybe we can read some of them together, and at the end of the month you can let me know what you guys thought of these books. If not, do let me know in the comments down below what you're planning to read this spooky season, any recommendations, any inspiration. Love all of that sort of stuff. I love talking to you guys, and I do reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It's a super easy way to help my channel grow after such a long time being away, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!